Netflix, when House of Cards came to him, Kevin Spacey and the producers came to him with the idea of House of Cards, they said, we will give you a commitment without doing what every other TV network does, which is insist on seeing a pilot, testing it, and letting it compete against others. We will give you a 2-season commitment, not just a 1-season commitment, which only very few get a full season commitment. We'll give you a 2-season commitment. And so people said, how would they dare risk a 2-season commitment without seeing a pilot, without testing it? What people missed, which is something that they missed what Netflix actually did. What Netflix actually did before Kevin Spacey and the producers and David Fincher came to them, they looked up and they saw Kevin Spacey movies did very well on Netflix. David Fincher movies that he directed did very well. Political dramas did very well on Netflix. They had a built-in audience for all of those 3. And the British series that ran earlier on House of Cards had a lot of popularity on Netflix. So Netflix was saying, if we could combine those 4 audiences together, we've got a show that's going to do very well, particularly when you got Kevin Spacey fronting it, as an actor. It was not a sure bet. Nothing ever is a sure bet. But it was not a blind bet. They knew what they were doing. It helped build up the subscriber base for Netflix. Netflix now has 43 or so million subscribers around the world. And that's grown exponentially since they put on original programming like House of Cards. Reed Hastings is an engineer. That's what you have to know. And that's an advantage in the world of massaging data and understanding who your audience is. So they come up with all these different algorithms with the many engineers who work at Netflix, and they basically slice and dice the salami in so many different ways to say, let us test what people like. I mean, how many people like political dramas, how many, whatever. But the 49,000, I don't even know all the 49,000, but as I'm talking to the people who run engineering for them, and they're talking about how they test, they're testing everything. What have you watched before? I mean, what is the average amount of hours you spend binging? What do you watch after you binge on a political show? What else do you watch? Do you watch another political show? And if you do, then I know I've got someone who really is a prime customer for me, for a political show. When you watch Kevin Spacey, have you watched all of his movies? And they can measure. They have the data to tell you that you didn't just watch one Kevin Spacey movie. You've watched all of his movies. My gosh, you're a fan. So they can dice and slice all of that up and basically present a prediction as to who the audience is and how big that audience will be, or might be, and that becomes a great advantage, that data.